A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to the news live on Channel I. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Javed Bongzo and we begin with the headlines of tonight's news.
The President says the government has ensured the right of following all religions in freedom. Civil organizations have been given a pledge by the President to appoint a veteran in the economic field as the central bank governor. Minister Field Marshal Sarah Fonseca received the UMP membership. Finance State Minister claims that the state revenue has recorded a considerable growth last year. Over 30 trainee policemen have been killed in a suicide bomb attack in the city of Kabul.
We now move on to those and other stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena says the government has ensured the right to follow all religions in freedom. He was speaking at the iftar ceremony held at the Temple Trees in Colombo this evening. The ceremony was conducted under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. President Maithripala Sirisena told the invitees who attended the iftar ceremony that every possible step has been taken to strengthen the national amity and reconciliation in the country. The right to follow all religions in freedom has been ensured for all devotees, including Buddhists, Hindus and Catholics. Doors were opened for all of them to live in a free society. The government's plan is to fulfill aspirations of all communities. Such a national program is being strengthened along with a religious program. He said that he is very happy to participate in the iftar ceremony along with Islam devotees on this important occasion. He thanked the Prime Minister for extending an invitation for him to participate in the iftar ceremony. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the country's reconciliation and peace among communities and religions are being maintained in the country following the swearing-in of President Maithripala Sirisena in high office on the 8th of January. Therefore, as a government, we have taken measures to conduct the ceremony not only by name but also by deed in the country based on unity. The Islamic devotees broke their fast thereafter. Maulavi Abdul Al-Hafiz Noori conducted religious observances. Several Muslim religious leaders, ministers and MPs were among those who attended the ceremony.
Minister Field Marshal Sarah Fonseca today obtained the UMP membership at a ceremony held at Sirikota party headquarters under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Minister Field Marshal Sarah Fonseca was warmly welcomed at Sirikota party headquarters by a group of UMP stalwarts, including the General Secretary of the party, Kabir Hashim. The Prime Minister presented the membership of the UMP to Minister Field Marshal Sarah Fonseca. Minister Field Marshal Sarah Fonseca said that this decision has not been taken to enter into a temporary journey. UMP leader and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is my leader from today, he said, adding that Mahinda Chintana crisis is still haunting in this country. Everyone should be united to eliminate it. The UMP should win in the 2020 general elections.
රාජපක්ෂ පාලනයෙන් අපි රට බේරාගත්තා. අද ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා, ගරු අගමැතිතුමා, ප්‍රමුඛ රජය යහ පාලනය වෙනුවෙන් කැප වෙලා ඉන්නවා. මහින්ද චින්තනයේ උවදුර තාම මේ රටේ ඉවර වෙලා. අපි ඒක යට කරලා දාලා තියෙනවා. මියගිය පොල්මනක් වගේ නැවත ඒ උවදුර නැගිටින්න හද. මේ උවදුරෙන් මේ රට බේරා ගන්න නම් ඒ ලක්ෂ 62 අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම එකමුතුව ඉන්න ඕනේ මේ උවදුරේ අවසානයක් දක්න. මේ ගමන අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තීර අධිෂ්ඨානයකින් යනවා. 2020
Several members of the Democratic Party Working Council and a group of party members received the UMP membership at the ceremony. A large number of UMP and Democratic Party stalwarts were present. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that Field Marshal Sarah Fonseca has joined the UMP to enter into a forward march. Field Marshal Fonseca is a person who is always going forward. He suffered a lot after ending the war.
Persons who used to accuse us for not treating war heroes have taken measures to keep Field Marshal Sara Fonseca in jail. He thanked him for joining the UNP, accepting his invitation. The Prime Minister said that they will build a new country. And member countries of the United Nations Human Rights Council lauded the Sri Lankan government's program of ensuring human rights. The extending of full support by countries who voted against Sri Lanka in the past is considered as a clear specialty. Foreign Minister Mangal Samaraweera told Geneva Sessions yesterday that the government has taken giant strides towards restoring reconciliation in the country. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Prince Zaid Rad Al Hussein, presented the Sri Lanka report to the Human Rights Council yesterday. He revealed that Sri Lankan government has taken several important steps towards protecting human rights. Several representatives of foreign countries expressed their views on the Sri Lanka report. The Russian envoy noted that the international community should not be intervened at a time where the Sri Lankan government has taken measures to address the accountability process. The British envoy pointed out that the aim of their government is to fulfill the set of proposals on Sri Lanka totally, which were agreed upon last year. Addressing the UN sessions, Foreign Minister Mangal Samaraweera said that he was happy about the progress achieved by the country so far. He emphasized the need of gaining reconciliation with stern commitment and lasting actions. He added that Sri Lanka is now open for the world and it has established links with the international community with determination and courage. The Sri Lankan Foreign Minister reiterated that the government is committed in unison and with a stern aim of achieving reconciliation and development, although it was a difficult task.
Bribery or Corruption Investigation Commission has filed a petition at the Supreme Court against parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa. He was accused for not extending his support for investigations into an incident of earning assets in an illicit manner. Bribery Commission has written a letter to MP Namal Rajapaksa on the 20th of January to submit an affidavit to the Commission. But he has informed the Commission through a lawyer that it was illegal. The Bribery Commission has urged the judiciary to conduct an inquiry as the action of not appearing before the Commission appropriately to give statements by MP Namal Rajapaksa was contempt of Commission. Meanwhile, the Colombo High Court today ordered to produce suspects of Helicop Company said to have been owned by MP Namal Rajapaksa before the 28th of July. This order was issued by the High Court considering a request made by the Financial Crime Investigation Division. It has been cited that the company, which is a service provider for Sri Lankan Airline, was purchased by the MP, investing a sum of over 125 million rupees. The FCID has recovered 17 documents relating to this transaction during an inspection at the office of the CSN channel. The FCID has earlier informed the court that MP Namal Rajapaksa has purchased this company misusing his powers as a parliamentarian. In the meantime, parliamentarian Johnston Fernando and 2 others have been granted bail by the Colombo Fort Chief Magistrate today. MP Johnston Fernando has been accused of using 150 employees of the CWE during the 2010-2014 period for political activities when he was holding the ministerial portfolios. These workers were recruited during the same period. The case filed against him and 2 others was taken up for hearing at the Colombo Fort Chief Magistrate Courts today. Bribery or Corruption Investigation Commission has filed 5 cases relating to this incident. Colombo Fort Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilapitia has granted bail for them on a cash bail of 50,000 rupees each per case and 2 personal bails of 50,000 rupees each. The case will be taken up for hearing again on the 27th of October.
And state revenue has recorded a growth since last year. It was continuously declining in the previous years. This was disclosed by State Minister for Finance Lakshman Yapapewardena at a media conference at SLFP headquarters in Colombo today. State Minister for Finance Lakshman Yapapewardena said that local and foreign investors could make their investments in Sri Lanka, placing confidence on the country's economic path both nationally and internationally. He noted that the main reason for this was the pragmatic financial system.
It has still not collapsed, but the problem is to increase the state revenue. It has come down to 13% today from 19.7% in 1993. There was a slight increase in the state revenue during the period 2014-2015. The state revenue was increased by 1% from 2015 up to now. Sri Lanka's economy will face a crisis if the state revenue has not been increased at least up to 20%. The exiting of Britain from the European Union has created an impact on Sri Lankan economy which was not anticipated earlier. Sri Lanka had agreements with the European Union, but it is now planning to enter into separate agreements with individual countries because the situation will become worse if the other countries follow suit. Therefore, it is not advisable rather to sign one agreement with group of countries, he said.
Law and Society Trust has taken measures to disseminate information relating to bribery and corruption via internet. The Law and Society Trust has developed a web page on case summaries on bribery and corruption. The aim is to create awareness on such corrupt practices and disseminate information on legal procedures. The launching ceremony of the web page on bribery and corruption in Sri Lanka was held at the International Centre for Ethnic Studies in Colombo yesterday. Scholars said that the country's economy is facing repercussions of large-scale bribery and corruption committed during the previous regime.
We take a look at Asia in a minute.
South Korean Prime Minister Hong Go-yan met Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing today. Hundreds of left-wing activists rallied outside the presidential palace in Manila today in support of Rodrigo Duterte's presidency as his inauguration as the Philippines' 16th president got underway. Human rights activists call on Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi's new government to use its parliamentary majority to dismantle junta-era laws that suppresses freedom of speech. Forest Department ropes in elephants to drive away a rhinoceros that strayed into a village in India's northeastern Assam state. A museum where visitors can learn about kanji or Chinese characters has opened in Kyoto, Japan. 808 kanji characters, chosen as a symbol of the shared culture of the three countries, have been printed on the leaves of an artificial tree. This two-story museum has about 2,700 square meters of floor space.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today declared open a television studio with full HD technology at the Independent Television Network. The studio with automatic lighting system was built in an area in the extent of 2,600 square feet. A sum of 100 million rupees was spent for the studio with digital control equipment and modern technology cameras. Two such studios are to be built at the ITN at a cost of 600 million rupees. All activities are being carried out by engineers attached to Independent Television Network. Minister Gayantha Karunathilaka, Deputy Minister Karunaratne Parnavithana, ITN Chairman Samanatha Odahetti and heads of media institutions were among those who attended the opening ceremony of the new studio.
Minister Sajid Premadasa says the previous regime had carried out a miracle confined only to foundation stones, misleading the public. He was speaking at a ceremony held in Matale district today. The ceremony was organized in connection with the providing of housing loans for 800 low-income families in the district. It was presented under the Shelter for All village-to-village and door-to-door programs housing loan scheme. A sum of 130 million rupees has been allocated for this purpose. Addressing the gathering, Minister Sajid Premadasa said that the former president was trying to give birth certificates for projects of others. It was not surprising because he might say that Mahapula started under his vision of moving the country towards a miracle. The former president may claim that the Mahavali project and the village reawakening program were implemented under the same initiative. He might also state that youth camps for Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe had been launched under his vision. He might display his label in projects started by others. He disclosed that the former
former president had laid 10,000 foundation stones during the presidential election period. Not a single cent was allocated for those projects. He has implemented a project of foundation stones during the presidential election period. The good governance government will never resort to such actions, he said, adding that they will not implement those gimmicks.
A light rail transit system is to be constructed in the capital city of Colombo. The Cabinet of Ministers has given the approval to obtain the assistance of Japanese International Cooperation Agency for this purpose. The Western Region Megapolis plans have given its priority to solving transport issues in the region. It has identified that improvement of public transport modes, development of road infrastructure, management of transport demand and environmentally sustainable transportation is crucial in this regard. The most suitable solution to present transport demand of the megapolis region is identified as the light train transit, and accordingly 7 routes have been identified in this regard. The proposed system will be constructed covering the Colombo Fort, Kolupitia, Pambalapitia, Union Place, Maradana route and Varela Malape route. The proposal made by Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Partali Champika Ranawaka, is to obtain the assistance of JICA to conduct its feasibility report and immediately commence the construction of the light rail transit system. Sri Lanka has been selected for the first time as the host country to hold the South Asian Tourism Awards 2016. It is organized by the South Asian Zone Tourism Association. This was revealed at a media conference held in Colombo today. The aim of the award ceremony is to felicitate entrepreneurs on the tourism field representing the South Asian region and to present awards for them. Another aim is to create necessary background to improve their tourism business. Tourism entrepreneurs of Sri Lanka, India and Maldives could submit their entries for the awards. They could submit their applications by logging in to www.satravelawards.com website. A panel of judges will assess the applications and it will be supervised by the Chamber of Commerce, Colombo. The awards presentation ceremony will be held in Sri Lanka in October this year. SATA President Ismail Hamid, special representatives of the Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Amila Kankanamage, were among those who attended the media conference.
10 children who were deprived of admission into the grade 1 class of Meegathan Primary School have been given this opportunity with the intervention of Deputy Minister Palitha Thevara Peruma. These 10 children had to stay home as they were not admitted to the grade 1 class of the school. Parents have made known this matter to relevant authorities from time to time. Responding to their request, Assistant Secretary of the Provincial Secretary's Office informed the school principal to admit these children. He has made this request in a letter sent to him. The school principal has failed to respond to this letter and therefore Deputy Minister met the principal and requested him to admit these children. The Deputy Minister has launched a fast along with parents as they have not received a positive response from the principal. They continued the fast for 4 days. Thereafter, the Deputy Minister staged a protest demonstration at the Education Zonal Office this morning. He was later hospitalized as he was taken ill suddenly.
The All Shares Price Index closed at 6,283.27 points, dropped by 7.62 points, and the S&P SL20 Index closed at 3,300.20 points, also dropped by 10.35 points at the end of trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange today. Turnover was over 449 million rupees. Here's a summary of market details of the Colombo Stock Exchange today.
Welcome back and taking a look at foreign stories now. Taliban bombers have attacked an Afghan police convoy outside the capital Kabul, killing at least 30 people and wounding 50 others. 2 bombs hit a convoy of buses carrying graduates from a ceremony on the city's western outskirts.
Pagman District Governor Musa Khan told that 2 of the dead were police cadets. The bombing was claimed by the Taliban. It follows an attack on a bus just over a week ago that killed 14 people. The victims in the 20th June attack included Nepali security guards working for the Canadian embassy. In the latest violence, there had been 2 blasts targeting the cadets. Officials are still trying to confirm the precise number of dead, but witnesses and sources describe a scene of carnage. Kabul's police chief is at the scene of the attack, some 20 kilometers west of the capital. The cadets were returning to Kabul from a training center in Wardak province and were about to go on leave. According to the governor in Pagman district, which is en route, a suicide bomber struck first, followed by a second car bomb explosion detonated between 2 buses in the convoy.
We now move on to some international news from around the world in brief. Rodrigo Duterte has been sworn in as President of Philippines after a landslide election victory in May. The controversial former mayor of Davao City, 71, overthrew the political establishment at the polls, promising a bloody war on crime and corruption. In his inaugural speech, he promised to make sweeping changes to the country's political system.
The President has just signed his oath of office. President, safer and healthier.
A world-leading climate change target up to the early 2030s is set to be confirmed by the British government. Ministers are expected to announce that the UK will cut carbon emissions by 57% by 2032 from 1990 levels. The announcement will help reassure the investors needed to overhaul the UK's ageing energy system. Stars of the eagerly awaited follow-up movie to the Absolutely Fabulous series took to the red carpet at the London premiere today. Champagne-swigging, chain-smoking leaders characters Eddie and Patsy, who love to shop and of course party, returned for more antiques in Absolutely Fabulous the movie, a big-screen adaptation of the hit 1990s British television comedy show. Absolutely Fabulous opens in the UK on the 1st of July and the US on the 22nd of July. The Legend of Tarzan is a 2016 American action-adventure film based on the fictional character created by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Directed by David Yates and written by Adam Cozart and Craig Brewer, its cast comprises of Alexander Skarsgård, Samuel L. Jackson, Margot Robbie, Jimon Hounsou and Jim Broadbent, and Christoph Waltz. It premiered at the Dolby Theatre in Los Angeles on the 27th of June 2016 and is scheduled for release in the United States on the 1st of July 2016 in 2D, 3D, IMAX and IMAX 3D.
Taking a look at sports news, Jason Roy scored his 2nd century in 3 games to give England a series-clinching 6-wicket win over Sri Lanka in the 4th one-day international played yesterday. They won the 5-match series by 2-0. The match was confined to 42 overs per side due to rain. Sri Lanka batting first scored 305 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Danushka Gunatilaka made 62. Kusal Mendis top scored with 77. Dinesh Chandimal hit a brilliant 63 runs in 51 balls with 3 sixes and a 4. Angelo Matthews was unbeaten on 67. Chasing a victory target of 308 runs under the Duckworth-Lewis system, England scored 309 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in 40 overs, winning the match by 6 wickets. Jason Roy, in a splendid batting display, scored 162 runs and he became the 2nd highest scorer for England in one-day internationals. Joe Root made 65. Nuwan Pradeep took 2 wickets for 78. The 5th and final one-day international will be played in Cardiff next Saturday. The first T20 match will be played in Southampton next Tuesday.
Punishment over mid-on. Nothing wrong with the delivery.
Who's 10, who's 11. And that will be 6 more.
Oh, yes, Nick, gone.
Education Ministry says it has taken several stern decisions to maintain discipline in school rugby. Accordingly, match bans were imposed on several schools. The Education Ministry has imposed a match ban of 9 months from tomorrow against under-20 rugby team of Dharmaraja Vidyalaya, Kandy. They have to face a 2-year probationary period. 7 of their players have been banned from playing matches for a year. This punishment was given to him for their unruly behaviour following the match played between Dharmaraja Kandy and St. Joseph's Marudana at Bogambara Stadium. The host Trinity College under-20 team has been imposed a match ban of 6 months for their clash with Royal College team Colombo after the second leg of the Bradby Shield. A 6-month match ban was imposed on Kerry College under-20 team for their unruly behaviour after the match against Siri Pieratna Vidyalaya Paduka. A decision has been taken to suspend all their victories this year.
And in your weather forecast for tomorrow, Met Department says that mainly fair weather will prevail over most parts of the island. However, a few showers are likely in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Strong winds at times can be expected in the northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Matale district. This is the weather forecast for the next 36 hours. And that's it for tonight's news. Do watch us tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.